good morning, everyone.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Just getting a few things set up here, so bear with me. That's showing up okay. Let's see. Let's try this a little differently.
Okay, this is good. Let's see if you got anything coming up here. Yeah, we got something coming up here. The other camera's like frozen. Well, that's really weird. OBS file is like giving nothing. Nothing, not live. All right, I woke up. So there's a first for everything.
There's a first for everything. My OBS bot camera was like frozen. I had to unplug it and plug it back in, and then it woke up. I don't know how the image was producing, but it was there. It's exciting. Every day is a new adventure. So again, we'll start that over. Good morning, everyone. We are here at Princess Juliana Tango November Charlie Mike, and we are going to fly down to Caracas, Venezuela. The Joint AVA group last night had their Monday night Caribbean night, and I was just not up to it, so I passed. And they had a really neat event where you have a time on target where you need to arrive at the airport at a certain time. So where you depart from and when you depart from that place is entirely up to you. The whole idea is to be arriving at the airport, designated airport, at a specific time. So it looked like they had a pretty good turnout, and the guys had an enjoyable time. So sorry I missed it, guys. We'll try it again another night. But I had a full day yesterday. So a couple of things we're going to go over today that I want to play with. For one, is I printed out the entire OFP for today's flight, and just for those that may not be aware, Simbri produces your OFP, which is your operational flight plan, and it's, from what I understand from real-world pilots, it's about as realistic as they come. And in this particular case, for this flight, which is only an hour and 20 minutes airtime, hour and 30 minutes, there's 24 pages of information here. There's NOTAMs, there's weather, weather including charts with your winds aloft and any weather that may be in your route of flight. So I mean, there's all kinds of information that's available. There's all kinds of information available to you if you want to avail yourself to it. But there's the winds aloft chart, all real world stuff. I am using Active Sky, and there's your route of flight that shows along that route. So yeah, if you want to avail yourself to that, it's a pretty nifty feature. Crew alerts, things about the NOTAMs about the specific fields, your alternate airports available, the weather, the conditions, any specific NOTAMs that might be associated with that specific terminal, detailed destination information. Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive, which is amazing for a free application. So anyway, I just thought it'd be interesting. The main thing that I look at these for on a regular basis, they do have performance information based on your aircraft. There's information about the weather, the winds aloft, which is handy. You have your descent winds aloft, which I use on every flight. That adjusts, if need be, adjust your top of descent. And so your performance calculations and everything will be, your arrival calculations will be on step. But there's also your estimated fuel on board and actual fuel on board. So each one of your waypoints, it's marked with a lot of information. Your altitude, the winds at that particular station at the time that this was created, your temperature variation, and also your fuel. So you can do some planning to verify if you're burning the right amount of fuel at each leg along the way. So if winds change, if winds aloft change, that can affect your fuel consumption. So all of that plays into it. So anyway, might take a look at some of this while we're airborne. Okay, so let's see. As part of the pre-planning, we need to tell the FMC where we are. So we are at Tango. I got the right one in there. November Charlie Mike. And I don't really know what gate we're at, so we're going to let the GPS tell us that. And it seems to agree. Alright, so I'm not too concerned with that. Clear this out. Now I think I have the Princess Juliana Airport in here. Tango November Charlie Mike. Let's go over here and take a quick look. Make sure that all of the flights for Join AVA have to be flown on the VATSIM network. So whether or not there's air traffic control working is not really a factor. Obviously, it's more enjoyable if there is, but that's not a prerequisite. So you just need to be on the VATSIM network and performing your procedures as you would if there were air traffic controllers live. So what I need to do is go over and start my vPilot. I've already started my ACARS application, so we're good there. Alright, and this is going to be American 751. We are a Boeing 738. It should give me a transponder code by default, just in the event someone does show up. Okay, so we're going to go back to our sim brief. We're just going to view this one. Just verify departure, arrival, that's all right. We're going to pre-file it. There we go. So that's confirmed. Close that box now. I think what I'll do is just go ahead and disconnect and give it a second. It should give me a squawk code. Alright, so nothing yet, so we're just going to put in here 2000. And we'll go to standby on the transponder for the moment. All right, so nothing's come in there. I'm sure they'll notify me if they do. All right, so the next thing I want to do is go over to my charts. And I don't know if Princess Juliana has 24-hour service. So let's take a quick peek if we can. It's one of the things that, let's see. All right, let's go taxi. There's ATIS, there's tower, there's delivery, traffic internet. I don't think they're a 24-hour. Wouldn't think there would be. They would be. So let's see. That's going to be Juliana approach 128.950. Now, why am I concerned about that? 128. I don't think I will get any ATC chatter because it's the Caribbean 128.95. They just don't really support that, so but we'll give it a try just because it's awfully quiet. And I haven't got my mic set up yet for
Park 47, much appreciated. Clear visual approach runway 2, right speeds your discretion.
Speeds our discretion.
well, we got something, so that's good. And we don't have any volume control over this in the cabin. It's all controlled within the app itself, so I'll just minimize that and let that go. Okay, so far nothing from VATSIM. So we're going to leave on 128.95 for this chatter, which is Juliana approach. And I'm going to go to 122.8 for Unicom. All right, so hopefully now we're in compliance with ATC. So I've got, oh, kill this. It's a little bright. Now you may have noticed I added a little, there's a little camera right up here, and I'm going to get another camera, but I just thought for the time being I would throw in a webcam, and so the webcam is straight up top, kind of focusing on the overhead panel as best I can get it to do right now. And it looks like that light's kind of glaring in it, so let me turn that down. There, it's better. So it's not really a better picture or a more closer picture. It's just a cheap webcam, so I just thought I would throw that in there for see what it would do. All right. So let's request our flight plan, and we are going to get. I think this afternoon I may set up the. Say intentions, because I need to set up the push to talk buttons and so forth for that. Okay, let's load that. Okay, so we've got that going. So let's go through here. Originating checklist. We're working on our load sheet. All right, so let's go through this electrical panel. We are on ground. Yep, ground power is good. Obviously, the DC battery switch is armed and guarded, or we wouldn't have power. Standby power is guarded. Auto guarded. Alternate flaps are off and guarded. Fuel pump switches are all off. Wipers left and right are off. Hydraulic pumps are all off. Landing gear lever is down, and we have 3 greens. Weather radar.
Monitor radar display.
And it may not until we get
wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
I'm curious if in the checklist it says to go through this originating checklist, but we haven't got to the IRS selectors on yet, which I wanted to do in sequence. So
Monitor radar.
Doesn't look like they're going to do anything until we have the IRSs up and running. So
go around. Wind shear ahead.
Interesting.
Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Maybe a ProSim thing, I don't know. All right, so fire warnings. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 lights. That's good. So I am going to put the fuel on and start the APU.
Airport, 10 o'clock, and 1 mile before the airport.
Okay, so just looking at the chrono for a second, just to get an idea about its functionality, because it's on hold. So that's the hold.
American 1201 advise the airport inside the figure 10 o'clock and about 13 miles. Inside 1201. American 1201, close visual approach runway 27 right. Clear division 27 right, American 1201.
Let's see something here. So what do we get? So Princess Juliana, winds are 040 at 5. Temperatures 26 and 22, scattered at 1800. QNH is 1015. So there's 1015 in the QNH. Really love the standby instruments. Okay. So electrical, cabin, passengers, that's on. Go ahead and put the IRSs in alignment mode. Okay, so they're set to align. Emergency light, exit lights are armed and guarded. Passenger, no smoking or fasten seatbelt signs are on. Air conditioning is good. We're going to put the packs on so we can get some air back here for the passengers. Recirc fans, trim air's on. That's good. Okay. Flap levers are up, parking brake is set, exterior lights steady for the APU. All right, check something here, gentlemen. It'd be interesting to see if all right, so we're good there. I'm kind of curious. There were some comments about the ACAR system, whether or not it was going to. You have to be logged into BATSIM so that it registers the flight. So I'm curious to see if the fact that I disconnected and reconnected while I'd already started the ACARS program, if that's going to be an issue. Yeah, guys, please, if you're bored, I get it, but I like streaming these just to be streaming it in case people stop in and ask questions, but I'm not really following any set timeline per se to get things going. I mean, all of this is just enjoyment and learning for me, so let's see. Just checking on something I was looking at last night that I want to look at again regarding the chrono.
American 2528 maintain 2,100. 2,100, 25. American 2528 Turtle thing 360.
The standby flight instruments are on the center instrument panel to the left.
Yeah, so I don't have any control over the artificial horizon. Can't cage it, and I can't set it for the ILS or the back course, which would be normally standard equipment in the Boeing. The RMI is okay.
The standby RMI shows magnetic heading and DOR ADS bearings in the station. The AC standby bus powers the RMI. After the loss of all normal AC power, the RMI continues to operate if battery power is available. The two pointers show DOR or ADS bearings. Use the DOR ADS bearing switchers.
Eventually, yes, I am thinking of my green
Just set my altitude. I'm listening to something on this about this RMI and about the chrono. Unfortunately, you can't see it, so that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking of getting another camera so I can get in a little bit more detailed.
A bearing pointer warning flag comes into view if electrical power is lost or if DOR has been selected, navigation signal is lost. By magnetic compass is the standard liquid fuel contour. A deviation card with heading correction factors is located near the compass. The clocks are on the captain's and first officer's instrument panels. The clock is digital with an LCD sweep second hand. Use the time date push button to select manual time or date. Pushing the time date push button will cycle through 4 modes in the following order. Universal Time Coordinated, UTC time, UTC date, manual time, and manual date. Now let's set the time to 4:08. First, push the time date push button to manual. When you see manual time, then you can set the time. Selecting the set push button causes the hours to flash.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work exactly the way the Boeing does, the chrono. Because there should be a manual flag that comes up there. There's a dot that shows that I think that's supposed to be indicating the date, because it is March 18th, 2025.
Selecting the set push button again causes the minutes to flash.
So I'm suspect that you can't set the time because the time is going to be per, well, you
The
can.
plus or minus push button to adjust the minutes.
Yeah, so it's 9:07 local time here. I'm really curious about the elapsed time in the chrono. That's why I was doing this.
Push button again to run the time. The time date control cycles through the time date display from UTC time and date to manual time and date. Push the date control.
Yeah, so there's no way to really cycle between 24-hour time.
The day and month are alternately displayed.
It's just local time. I'd probably have to set that in the...
26 February 1999.
In fact, I think, let me do this while I'm messing around with this. If I go to settings, it's curious if it was in here. I would think it would be in here. Other. It's possible it's in the ProSim setup. Map other conditions, pushback, view, aircraft, statistics. Yeah, no. Part of why I'm doing this now is I wouldn't want to do this airborne and have it end up resetting something. That would be awful. Okay, sim brief. Don't know if we go VATSIM. We'll leave that for now. I don't know if it's going to impact us if we'll not be able to get ATIS unless we have that on generic. I don't see anything on the chrono here. Ground call controls GPU. Okay. Switches to this. You can only assume this, the fourth one from the right up here, slave RMI switches to captain's EFS. I don't think that really applies to this, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of options you have. Don't want that. Slave FO EFS to captain's EFS. We'll have to look into that. It was checked, so we'll leave it, but we'll uncheck this RMI. Okay, so not seeing anything. Terrain advanced. Okay. So I don't really see anything in here about the only other place it might be. Is the actual instructor station, cockpit setup. I'm looking to see if you can change the chrono to 24-hour time or UTC time at least, because this is the actual one, and this other app that I'm running is third-party. Show positions. seeing anything regarding the chrono. It may be inside of, excuse me, take a quick look over on ProSim and just see. Config. These are all about the different hardware options. No, not really seeing anything here. Okay. We'll cancel that because I don't want it to reset anything. Alright, so now it's wanting that, so let's go ahead and hit this one so we can get our yeah, I'm not really seeing anything in here, so we're just going to leave this alone. So, let's try this again. Try this test again.
Monitor radar display.
There we go.
Go around.
Okay, so IRSs are aligned.
Wind shear ahead.
All right, and the RMI just came to life because I have, based on where I'm positioned. I was curious, so you can see based on the position of the aircraft, the VOR number 1 is pointing down at the station that you see on my pad here. You can see the Princess Juliana, Papa Juliet Mike VOR, and you can also see it on the map here if I zoom in. So I just wanted to have it pointing to it. And what radio is it on? I just love some of the VOR features of these sims. So 239 just happens to be the radio we're on. Okay. All right, so I'm just fiddling around here. Let me get back to my
When the date is shown in the time date display, select the set push button and the day flashes. Then use the plus and minus push buttons to adjust the day.
Alright, so we need to fix this printer. See if I can do it from here. I don't know why it's printing to my other printer. I want this to be the default printer. How do I do that? Preferences. Okay. The only other thing I know how to do is to disable the other one. Let's see. Don't want that one either, so there's only one printer. Set in your preferred default printer. Oh man, no, not now. Just manage my default printer. Where is that? Bluetooth printer scanners under printer preferences. Let Windows manage my default printer. No, I do not want you to do that. Just switched off. Let's try that again then. Bingo. Okay, so fix that. Now it's probably a combination of, because I disabled or got rid of the other one, there's only one printer that needs to be on it. But I wouldn't be printing anything else from this printer, from this computer anyway, so that's perfectly acceptable. Okay.
Select the set push button again and the month flashes. Use the plus and minus push buttons to adjust the month. Select the set button again and the year flashes. Use the plus and minus push buttons to adjust the year. Select the set button again to run the date. The elapsed time control operates the elapsed time display. The display shows minutes and hours. The chronograph control operates the chronograph display and the second hand. The display shows only minutes. The elapsed time chronograph display shows elapsed time after the chronograph is reset to 0. The elapsed time function operates only when the elapsed time control is in the run position. Selecting the ET push button again temporarily stops the elapsed time until ET is reselected. The reset position sets the elapsed time to 0. Now, push the chronograph control to set the second hand and the chronograph to 0. The elapsed time display shows the elapsed time function started 15 minutes ago. Select the ET push button to hold. Select the reset push button to reset the elapsed time. Display blanks after 5 seconds.
534, turn left heading 300, Jones, 27 right, bottom first course. 300, north, final,
Okay, so it's not resetting.
Select the ET push button to start the elapsed time.
2534 airport is 1 o'clock, about 1 3 miles.
After 1 minute has elapsed, a 1 displays. Use the chronograph when you need more accurate timing, such as during non-precision approaches. Push the chronograph control to start the...
Let's see if there's not. Already printed that out, so we don't need that again. Let's go to menu, maintenance. No, the only thing they have in there is reset the. Yeah, don't see anything in there, so. Yeah, so what happened was I started this chrono when I got in here, and it's showing been here 41 minutes, but it's not resetting, and I'm trying to figure out how to reset it. I mean, you can work the chronograph, and it's going to count seconds. That part's working.
The elapsed time continues to operate in the background while the chronograph operates.
Yeah, so I'll have to look into that and figure out how to grin. So I'm going to send Giovanni a. So the chrono's going as it's, you can't really see it now, but it's working like it's supposed to. And if I zero it, it'll come back to 0, and the elapsed time is still working and doing its elapsed time, but I'm trying to get it, you can hold the elapsed time, but you can't reset the elapsed time. That's probably not going to reset until the flight is over. So that's a little interesting. I think there'd be a way to reset that vis-a-vis the software. All right. So now that you guys are sufficiently bored, that's part of it. All right. Hey, T. Yeah, good to see you, man. I was just spending some time here working with the chronograph, trying to figure out how to reset the elapsed time. So if you know any ideas on how to do that, it doesn't quite work like the Boeing does. Yeah. So I sent a message to Giovanni. He says, ask Carlo, duh. So I'll copy that and forward this to to Carlo, excuse me. I'll forward those to all right, so that's done. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so since you're just joining us here, I've been on the ground at Princess Juliana, getting ready to do this flight to Caracas, Venezuela, and just going over a couple of things on my own that I was curious about the settings and how things work. And as I said at the beginning, I could do all of this on my own and not bother you guys with it, but I figured I might as well stream it for posterity's sake. So all right, so APU is running, and we're going to go ahead. The APU is on the bus, so we can disable, make sure of that. There we go. Disable ground power. So we're good there. All right. What are we saying here for departure? This flight was one I said earlier that the Pat and the guys at Joint AVA did last night. It's a time on target for Princess Juliana, and I was just pretty wiped out, so I didn't participate, but I thought I would take off from here. And I've been down to Caracas, Venezuela a couple of times when I was flying X-Plane years ago and doing FS economy a bunch, so I'm familiar with the airport and the area. It's right on the coast, the rocky coast, and it's kind of a neat arrival area, so we'll see. All right, so Princess Juliana, SIDS, there's no SID called for in this flight plan that I recall. Let's see. Oh, be nice to get the correct one here. So let's get an OFP for this flight. There we go. Princess Juliana to Simon Bolivar International. Flight level 260, final step to 360. So we'll take a look and see what that is showing. Marks low distribution. Cargo bags. Interesting, I've never seen that before in the dispatch remarks. Low distribution, Yankee 104, Juliet 24, Foxtrot 12, cargo 5,063, baggage 3920, planned optimum flight level. Okay. If that means anything to you, feel free to chime in. All right, so there's no arrival, there's no departure, it's just PJM. So, you know, I don't know. There are departures, SIDs for this airport. So I'm curious as to why it doesn't constitute one. So, runway 10. And let's see. So just out of grin, so these are, just see what they look like. So our first waypoint is going to be, go ahead and set that. No, I thought maybe I was hearing some chatter. Maybe that was VATSIM coming in. Alright, so PJM, that's the VOR, and then it's coming up to Dante. So it's just heading out straight across to Silva. So Silva would be the turn. So let's see. Dante could do that. But that's a eastbound departure, runway 10, that's correct. So we'd swing around and come back. I like it. Above 4,000. That one's all over the place. Same Dante. I would be curious to see what sort of scenario constitutes which one of these they want to issue, if they're going to issue any at all. But sometimes I like flying them just to see the difference. But all right, so let's go here. Let's look at that one. So that's the BOPAT 2. BOPAT 2 with the Dante transition, which is correct. So we'll select that one. And let's come down here to look at our legs. So PJM. And that is not, because that's right on the, so we don't want PJM. So we're going to get rid of Dante and put Dante right here. There we go. Because once we get to this plan, as you can see, it looks just like the chart. Yeah. It's a slight little bump there around BOPAT. So that's good. And it's above 4,200. All right, so we'll go with that for now, and we're going to put as an approach, for safety's sake, we're going to tag the RNAV. In case we have a problem, we're going to come back in. So the outbound heading on that's going to be 96. 96. And that is the runway heading, so that's good. 96. Okay. That's really all we need to do on that for the time being. So go back up to here. Request our fuel. And payload data. Yep, so I just wanted to verify that I am showing up on here, and I am. All right, we're not going to put any traffic, leave all of that stuff off for the time being so we don't ruin anybody's family planning.
376, heavy contact tower 118.5. 25 and 376.
36 up here. .36 here. Yeah. Well, I can imagine if I were sitting there watching this, I'd say, dude, are you ever going to get with the program and fly the plane? But yeah, I'm going through a lot of things that I'm learning as I'm going, kind of talking through some of it. So I appreciate that. You know, I even had one thumbs down, which I haven't given somebody a thumbs down on something. It's like, hey, you know, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. If I did something incorrect or something you really disliked, that maybe a comment would be helpful. But I learned a long time ago, you're never gonna please everybody. So, oh well. Okay, so gross weight's 131. That looks good. Takeoff estimated weight 131,302. So we're good there. Fuel's 15.2. We're showing 15,143 in the block fuel. Reserves are 5.8. Wow, that's interesting. I think I'll redo the reserves for sure. It's 5.8. That's not even close, but you can see where it's matching up here. So block fuel is 15.1. Shows 15.2. We'll leave the reserves. Cost index 64. That coincides. I'm going to have to check this more often. I just assume that this is always matching, but it doesn't. All right, average winds are 244.22. That's showing up correctly. ISA deviation, that's not going to be on here. The deviation 11, although it's showing here, is what I need on my arrival as well for Caracas. Transition altitude 5,000, so that's where we'll shift over to 29.2. Airspeed minimums, maximum 82. All right, let's look at our performance. Oh, sorry. Go take off. Runway 10, OT 25. That corresponds. Winds 130. So that's your runway winds. So select their calling here for 44/25. Enter that in here, and our active select climb is going to be 26K. All right, and flaps 1. Wow, I haven't had a flaps 1 in a long time. And I think I may stand corrected on this, or I'm sure I will be. The CG, if I recall correctly, you used to just double click this and it would come up, but I may be recalling that inaccurately. So if we go over to our package here, we'll see 131.8, 131 at 22.9. Let's see, is that coincide? Take off. Yep. 131. 131 on the takeoff weight. Yeah, gross weight 131. Okay, so 22.8. I was just verifying the gross weight in what ProSim is showing and in what the Navigraph is showing on the performance, to be sure that my CG is correct, and that's 22.9. Put that back, 22.9 here. And that gives us a trim of 487. Put that back here. All right, that looks good. No response from Carlo on the chrono. Okay, so moving along here, let's go to page 2. Runway winds are 130 at 3, 130/3. Here, there's no slope and the heading's 96, so that's going to be 0/96. Conditions are dry. Nope, conditions are wet. Okay. Thrust reduction at 1500. Acceleration height at 1000 HEL. And here it's starting at 800, so we got mountains straight ahead, so I assume that's bueno. All right, so 146. I don't know where they're coming up with these numbers, but 146. 96, that's all set, so we're good there. Master, that's off there. Got our heading set, so we're good. All right, I've got VOR for the field 113.3 set in the nav, and that's confirmed on the navigation display. We're going to go ahead and put our comms on TARA. And let me plug this in before it dies. All right. I could give you a lot of positive building advice, but it is mine to give. Okay, let's see. So I think we're good here. I don't understand the calculation differences from what, I mean, all of this data is coming from the sim. From SimBrief, but it's not getting correlated correctly in here, so that's a little bit unusual. All right, so let's continue on. We've got everything else ready to go. We'll finish our checklist and get started on here, get out of here. All right, so leading edge devices, they check. Diversors are off. EECs are on and guarded. Crew oxygen is 16, confirmed. Passenger oxygen is guarded normal. Flight recorder test, check. Mach speed 1 and 2 check. Stall warning on the captain's side. Number 1 checks, first officer side. Check. We have 3 greens. We have PSEU is extinguished. Moving on down, we have flight controls are guarded. Alternate flaps are guarded. Spoilers are guarded. Armed and guarded. Yaw damper is on. Navigation normal, normal, normal. Displays are auto normal. Fuel crossfeed check. And that's confirmed. Fuel is set 15.1, so we're not going to need the center tanks. We're going to put all of our fuel on so we can get started here. Electrical cabin and utilities, I turned those on earlier. Equipment cooling is normal. Emergency lights are armed and guarded. Passenger signs are in auto. Window heat on. Overheat check confirmed. Off to reset. Back on. TAT test confirmed. Hydraulic switches are off. We're going to put our B's on because that's the way I roll. Voice recorder check. confirmed. Cabin pressurization, flight altitude is 360. Caracas is on the beach. I'm going to put it at 50, but we'll cross-check and verify before we get too far. Bleeds, pressurization, recirc's auto, packs are in auto, isolation valve is auto, engine bleeds are on, APU bleed is on. And the probes are in auto. ATIS has been confirmed. We're departing runway 10. QNH is 1015, and the winds are 040 at 5 knots. Comms are checked on 122.8. We set the mode control panel, verified masters correct. V2 speed, runway heading on the course, which I have tied to the RNAV approach. In the event we have to come back around, we can pick up the RNAV fairly quickly and shoot that approach. VNAV, LNAV enabled. Clock, we're at 1 hour, and I'm still trying to figure out how to reset this thing. Nose wheel steering is guarded. Main instrument panel is 1 and a normal and normal. Lights test. Lights test looks good. May test. Confirm RTO set to off. N1 speed auto, or N1 set to auto, speed set to auto. Fuel reset, and we're going to do a cargo test. Cargo fire test confirmed. And we're going to do ground proximity warning test.
Hold up. Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear. Sink rate.
Speed brake is down. Thrust lever, flaps lever is down. Engine levers are in cutoff. Confirm. Stab trim check. That works. Confirmed. Rudders centered. And we do have 18 on the oil quantity in the engines, and our hydraulics 94, 95, so that looks good. And elevators are, or ailerons are trimmed, and rudders trimmed. All checked. Squib test confirmed. Firing opt, fault confirmed. All right, I'm good. Zero fuel weight has been confirmed. N1 set. We don't have a reduction. We're doing max speed at 26,000. V speeds confirmed at 128, 128, 146. Stab trim confirmed. Fuel pumps are all on, ready to start. APU is ready to go. It's on the bus, and we have pressure, and start pressure is confirmed. All right, let's call for push. All right, here they come. So let's take a look at something here. Alternate is SVBM.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
I mean, we're not that heavy on the fuel. I don't know. Let's see what they're showing on the calculations here. Yeah, see, they're showing us up at, by the time we get to Dante, we'll be at 30,000. or Dundee.
Departure checks completed.
So, yeah, we'll just leave it
Bypass pin
36 out.
inserted. Locking gear.
There it goes. Okay, so I held both of them. And, okay, so we want our nose to the left, I believe.
Release parking brakes.
All right,
please.
so we're going to start that. Okay, so we reset the chrono, so that's good.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Interesting that I didn't get a, not getting an audible warning. Okay, packs off. Let's start number one. Start number two, excuse me. Looking for 21. And there's 21. Cut off to idle. Easy does it now. Don't bounce me all over the place here. Had that happen once or twice before too. Starts porpoising. All right, so feels good. Someone told me this is a ProSim thing that causes this, so. I'm not going to worry about it. Hopefully it'll reset itself. All right, so start number one. Mechanics won't like the repairs they'll have to do on the bottom of the aircraft when this is all done, but. $19.21, so cut off to idle. All pressure coming up, fuel flow established. N2 coming up. N1 coming up. I had no idea what caused that.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation
All right,
for
so
remote
number
engine start.
one is started. So let's put the engines on the bus. There we go. We're going to put a hydraulics one on. Turn our packs to auto. We're going to pull the APU out of service. Anti-collision lights are on. Outside temperature, disagree. Okay, it must have changed. Takeoff speed's deleted, so let's go back over here. I want to know if we got a good engine start. Yes, we do.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
All right, so let's take a look at this again. 44, it's what they gave me. 46, still 25. All right, let's do, while we're waiting on them, let's do a controls test.
Unlocking clear.
Alright, that looks good. Full left rudder. Full right rudder, that's good. They'll probably love that since they're disconnecting. Alright, so we're going to put our probes to heat to on. Everything else looks good.
Tow track disconnected. Bypass being removed. Left is clear.
Alright, so
right is clear.
So after pushback, we're going to note, noted our time already. We're at 4 minutes. Bleed air is set. Packs left and right. Before taxi, fuel cutoff levels. Fuel cutoff levels in idle detent. Engine switches are confirmed on the generator. We'll confirm the generators. Yes, Gen 1 104, Gen 2 90 amps, so those are good. We'll leave it on 1. Probe heat is on. Wing heats are all off, not required. Hydraulics are all on. Bleed pressure is checked. Recirc's auto, Pack's auto, engine bleeds on. And she is gone, I hope. Taxi lights on. Yes. And of course we have incoming. APU's off. Master caution checked. Flap set 1 for takeoff. Excuse me. Transponder TARA. And we will put the weather radar on again. And we are picking up some goodies out there, so we did a flight controls check, so we are ready to taxi. So yeah, it pretty much idles on its own. Doesn't really require much. All right, so hold it for 5 seconds. So let me get rid of this. All right, figured it out. Yeah, so I was watching this little video. It's called Learn to Fly. It's like some really dated stuff, like probably back in the 60s, 70s or something, the way these little computer-based training deals were done. But it's good. I mean, they're still informative, helpful pieces of information. Princess Juliana traffic. American 751 at the terminal taxiing to runway 10 for departure. Princess Juliana. Why does it have to reload all of that stuff? I was just there, and then you've got to start over completely. It's like it start moving and it freaks out. Okay. Alright, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to pause here for a minute. I've got the FSLTL traffic available, and since there is no VATSIM traffic, I'm just curious if I enable this. It says there's an update, but we're not going to do that right now. The injector, do I have an option? No, let's just start it and see what happens. And do we want to change anything? No, we're just going to let it go. So I'm going to pause here for just a minute and see if we get anything coming up. Yeah, it looks like we are. Just hate a sterile environment. It's like, can we get some traffic here? It'd be nice. All right, so now that I've got my clock working, yeah, so that's just a chrono. I'm going to note our departure time on here. $15.04, $13.04. So I think what I may do is, well, probably can't do that since I'm in on, so that there's an hour difference in the time, 2 hour difference in the time on the sheet, so that's okay. It's pretty close. Princess Juliana traffic, American 751, departing runway 10, Princess Juliana traffic. What's the takeoff weight? Takeoff weight is 131. I'll show you here. There you go. If you got a question or something about that, chime in. I'll pause here before we throttle up. Clear to the right, clear to the left. $131, yep. Were you just curious, or? Yeah, because real quick, I don't want to waste too much time here, but you can see in the takeoff brief, the takeoff, here it's showing 127, 132, 137, but you can see in the CDU it's 127, 127, 146. I'd rather err to the high side. It's showing weight 131.3, so I don't know what the difference is. I don't know why the discrepancy. Yep, curious. Okay, cool. All right, so let's start elapsed time. We're good to go. All right, so we're going to auto throttle enable. We're going to accelerate, brakes off. We're going to accelerate to 40%. Stabilize and toga. All right, looking good here. Airspeed alive. We're back on the yoke a bit. Looking for about 127 here. B1, rotate. And positive rate. Gear up, or TO up, and we're going to start our turn because we have some mountains coming up here pretty quick. there's 200, flaps up. Princess Juliana traffic, American 751, departed runway 10. Currently climbing out of flight level 3,900 for 360 direct BOPAT. Princess Juliana traffic. Thank you. Yeah, try to fly the flight director as close as possible and follow the arc as best as possible. Alright, so let's see. Climb checklist, autopilot engaged. Pressurization is looking good. We're going to turn the landing gear off. Bleeds are all confirmed, so that's all good. Climbing at 500 feet per minute, so AP is off. We'll go ahead and leave these in continuous. Should have put those on to begin with. Put our position lights to steady. Ah, never put my landing lights on to take off. Busted. You didn't catch that. T. Fail the check ride. Dang. Okay, we're at 5,000, so we're gonna go to standard QNH. We need to bug up our heading here. Yeah, I like the checklist and I don't like the checklist. He's got it cordoned off where you got before takeoff, after takeoff sections, and they've got a line between them. It's just a getting used to thing is all. Absolutely nothing wrong with the checklist. It's per the FCOM, so. All right, so we're looking good here. We're 4 minutes into the flight. I'm gonna put off at 10:06. So Dante is the next waypoint. So let's check a couple of things here. So, Mr. Berggraf, where are you located in this beautiful world of ours? So it looks like our smart cars is working, so that's comforting to know. Let's see. I'm Dutch, but I live in Belgium now. Okay. Are you a Max Verstappen fan by chance? He's quite the F1 driver. I'm a fan personally. Okay, so 36,000. That's good. Our legs. Dante 24. Do you know Captain Tango? He's Captain Tango, I believe, is from that part of the world, Belgium. He's a good man. He helped me out a lot on this cockpit, and very grateful for all of his help. And his lovely wife, Crafty, did all my logos and everything for my website, and just wonderful. Both of them are just really good people. Yeah, nor I. My wife has often asked me if I wanted to go to one of the races because I am such a fan, but nah, not really. I enjoy watching the television coverage is so good nowadays that it's like I don't need to really be there. I've done it before, and once is enough, and I didn't, other than actually being there and seeing the physical cars up close, and maybe a couple of the drivers, it's much more enjoyable watching from home. All right, so we're getting close to Dante. I'm just wanting to note the fuel, because according to this, we should be at estimated fuel on board 14, and we're at 13. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, 11.9 is where we should be. So I still think that's going to be, we're going to be, have more. And this is saying flight level 30, so we're not climbing quite as fast as they're thinking. We're at 308. Yeah, they're saying we should be at Mach 0.78. Yeah, so I got some real questions about all the information that either ProSim is providing via the aircraft or what SimBrief is showing here. I've had it work before where in the PMDG where it's actually been almost spot on. So position, data. All right, so I'm just curious. I'm gonna so Dante 12.6. And pork. So what I did was I reset the fuel, and then when I get to this next waypoint, I'm going to reset it or show used and see if it gives me the information I'm expecting it to. So we're at 12.6 now. When I get up to flight level, I'm going to balance the fuel out too. Yeah, he does know how to drive. It'll be interesting to see if he can pull off 5 in a row or if Lando's going to bump him off. Seems like the field's getting a lot tighter than it was last year. I mean, it's nice. It's like when Lewis was monopolizing or dominating the field, it actually got boring because there was such a disparity between the leading cars there. You had Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren. Everybody else was scrambling for, you know, the midfield or the back of the pack, so to speak. Now, last year, at least things were, anybody could have won, and the midfield was much tighter. I think this year we're going to see things even tighter than before, which is good. All right, so that's saying estimated at 820, which is actually we're about 3 minutes behind. No, that's not right. Yeah, so it's saying we should be there at 17 minutes. We're at 19, so looks like maybe 2 minutes behind. So we're actually doing better on the fuel. We've got more fuel than what they think we should have. But it's taken a whole lot longer to climb than, according to this OFP, we should be climbing at 0.78, and I should be at 350 at flight level 350 plus 500 at this point. And we're not even close. Yeah, he is pretty brutal, and he seems to know the rules pretty well too. So, you know, I know there was some hashing between he and Lando last year about whether he was playing fair or whatever you want to call it, but you know, he seems to know what he's doing. Well, we've got some serious cloud cover here. Alright, so everything's looking good. Flaps are up, speed brakes off. Alright, so we hit pork, we had 12.2. Reset. So 0.25, so that's 5. Not quite sure how that's supposed to work, because it shows we should have burned 3.8. But 0.5 jives with what we had between the two, so I'm not buying this OFP data. Alright, we're going to let that go for now. At least we got a slight cross check. As soon as we get to altitude, I need to go check on my aminols. Yep, he's been racing since he was real young, that's for sure. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I'll leave that right there. You guys can see where we're headed to. What do you think about the format with having the PFD and the NG in the upper left? I mean, it's dark anyway, so I figured, you know, put it up there. It's not blocking anything. I could actually make them bigger. I thought I had, I may have reduced them a little bit too much. And then I put the center screen behind me because there's nothing there except the back of the seat to look on both sides. So I thought that would be a good place for them. Try to open up as much of the screen as possible. The overhead right here, I've got it right there, but it's there because that's the back of the seat, so the headrest. I could tilt the seat back a little bit, might give a little bit more room of view there, but it's not going to help a whole lot. All right, we're going to turn these off, the engine start switches, because there are no clouds at all. Turn that off. Left the taxi lights on. Yeah, I got a little distracted with the chrono, wanting to verify how to use it. I mean, it's a cool little device. Yeah, so we're 18 minutes into the flight. I want to do something here. Why don't we go level change, and let's bring this down to 0.78. I'm noticing a little bit of stuttering, if you want to call it that, in the altitude tape. But I'm only running the CPU utilizations at low of 38, high of 42. GPU usage is like 57 to 61%. It is showing that there's traffic, but I haven't seen one iota of traffic. Let's see. All right, so let's see, what would we be looking at? I don't know if this is going to show us the center frequencies or not. If we went Aveo, this thing it stutters a little bit because this online stuff is not fully implemented. Alright, so let's take a look at see if we can get Aveo traffic. So San Juan, it'd be nice if they would show what the typical frequencies are for San Juan airspace. TJC, let's see. All right, so we're coming up to 36. Let's see. All right, so we're at cruise. Let's see, TJS, TJZS. ATC, see if that'll. Alright, so here we go. U.S. allocation, frequent, no, I don't want the U.S. I want to know which one's for that airspace. Yeah, so I don't know if there's a way to find that. Okay, so we're at cruise. We're going to go back to VNAV and let the speed be managed by, this says 0.80, which I agree we will probably get up to 0.80. We're at Anner. Used 9.9. 24 minutes into the flight. Yeah, okay. Zoom this out a ways. Let's get this position off of there because that kind of clutters that up a little bit. And I not getting any echoes. Miles out. All right, well, Mr. Bergeraff, I'm going to step away for a bit. You're welcome to hang out if you care to do so, and I will return here shortly. Appreciate you stopping in.
radar contact, climb maintain 10,000. Climb 10,000, maintain the zone. That's up. 3158, mobile purchase, that's, we'll go 35 left or 35 right? We'll take 35 right, what's up to 3158? That's 3158, expect runway 35 right. 35 right. Yeah, 23 mobile purchase, expect ILS runway 35 left, descend and maintain 3000. 35 left, down 3000.
Well, it's a little quiet up here across the Caribbean, just nothing but cloud cover. Had myself a little breakfast. 34 minutes into the flight. Alright, so wasn't picking up any ATIS on the through the ACAR system, so I go to this E6BX website and it gives me what I need. So I've got my QNH and the winds here. The TAF is showing that winds are calm. Here it's showing 080 at 1503. So 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, we're at 11 knots. So let's look at our options. ILS 10, I like that. And let's go see what our arrivals look like here from the airport. .080, so it's pretty close. We do have 9, but I don't know if there's an approach to that. There's a VORB. Not that VOR, not that star. That star could work. Let's see what we have here. Silva, Mador. Let's try. No, I don't like that one. See if we go to 10. Let's see. Yeah, that seemed like a long way out of the way. Yeah, now I see why they don't give you any. No. Okay. So let's go to our approach. Left. Well, let's see something. Hang on. Aldac. Let's go to her legs page. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's coming down. It's going to come down, then it's going to go outbound, it's going to do a procedure turn, and then come back in. That's kind of neat. Might be fun. Something different. Not necessary, but why not? What else do we have to do? So top of descent. Hull deck. And then we'll go approach is going to be this one. All right, 114.8 is the VOR on station. Put that one, we're I'm sure way too far out to get it, but we'll put that on nav 2, crank it up so when it comes in we'll hear it. ILS 10 left. Interesting that it didn't give us the information there. That's ILS 10 left. So that's 101. 101. This is probably going to be more like 180 coming into it. I'll just start with that. And then we're going to go fix MIQ. 196 miles. And let's go 101 radial, because that's the same thing that's going to be on the inbound course slash 100 miles out. So there's the 100 miles marker at Tassos. What is that DME? 17. DME arc is 17. So we'll put that on the arc distance. Curious DARPA. We'll try something here. It's probably risky. So instead of Malik, no, we don't want to go to the MIQ VOR. Let's try doing the, see if we can do the arc. So my door. My door's okay, so what we're going to try here is let's do if we wanted to do DARPA, D-A-R-P, DARPA, D-A-R-P-A, put that here, and then recon there. R-E-K-O-N. Alright, and then Mares, M-A-R-S-C, M-A-R-E-S, E-S, Mars. And that's it. So then we're going to come down here. I'm going to look at CF there. Get off of there. All that silly clutter. Alright, so towards Midor, DARPA. Yeah, so now it should show the arc in there. Yeah. So if we go to the plan view now, and it shows there's the DME arc. So you can see the arc that it will fly. Cool. I like it. Oh, legs. Alright, so top of drop is just inside of 100 miles. Said we were in sufficient fuel, but I'm not agreeing with that. We got plenty of fuel. Yeah, here it's showing we'll be on the ground with 8,000 pounds of fuel. Hour and a half's worth of fuel. Okay, so 12. So according to the chart, at 4,000, the Romex. I don't know where Romex. Oh, Romex is there, but so 4,000 across the arc. It looks like 5,000. The arc's at 5,000. So we'll descend down to 5,000. You can see that on the chart. So we'll intercept DARPA, and at 4,000, if we were holding, we'd hold at 4, which would give 1,000 miles, 1,000 foot for the people intercepting the arc coming in. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. So we can tag our, other than having the waypoints, which we have, if you didn't, you could identify them by the 027 degree radial off of the Marquetta BOR, and then as you come around to recon, you'd be on a 356 degree radial, maintaining 17 nautical miles away from the station. You would progress around the arc. God, I can remember back in the day of, we can see the continent coming up there. Oh, what was that? This was back in the 80s. Was it the 80s? Yeah, probably the early 80s. Still the green screen. Remember the monochrome, the amber monochrome screens and the green monochrome screens when we were flying Microsoft Flight Simulators and Flight Simulator. And I can remember there was another program. What was it called? It was a procedure trainer. I mean, an instrument flight trainer. I know I've tossed all that software now. Wish I wouldn't have. But anyway, it was totally basic. All it had was your 6-pack and some real crude gauges. But you could fly precision approaches with it, and that's all it was meant to, is just work on precision approaches. You could do the DME arcs were some of the most fun. But I mean, you're doing all of that with not even an RMI, just 2 VORs, and one with a DME. So that was kind of cool. Look, turn the seatbelt light signs off there now. They're probably complaining as to why they've been strapped in all this time. Xavier, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there, pal. My apologies. Finally managed to catch you live, which is not easy on GMT +1. Yeah, because I'm -6 now, I think, with daylight savings time. More about the performance you are getting. I'm on DX12. Yes, so am I. Performance medium to high settings at 2K. Yeah, so when I land, because I'm on a VATSIM flight for a VA, so I don't want to pause the system. But if you hang out till we get on the ground, I can show you all my settings if you want. Performance medium to high settings at 2K. Sometimes I'll get 60 FPS in the air. Aerosoft, that's FPS. EBBR. Yeah, I don't do much flying. Now, I do have Los Angeles. The add-on Los Angeles. I have not flown it since I installed it yesterday with this setup, but I will, and I'm kind of anxious to check it out because it's a little frame hungry. You have a 4090, 14900, nice. Oh, at 5700 megahertz, cool. 64 gigabytes. All right, so one of the things that I'm doing, let's see. SSD top, okay, 385s. Okay, you got 385s. I have 385 Sonys, right? Sorry for typing. No, don't worry about the typos. No biggie. I got what you're saying. So one of the things that I'm doing, I've got the latest NVIDIA drivers on this thing, and I'm running, whether I should or not, I'm running the, so I don't know if you can see this. So here's the NVIDIA performance. That's one of the nice things about having this screen up in the front, so you guys can, I can drag stuff up, you can see it. So there's my clock speed. Yeah, where's my temp? Oh, 45. So I'm manually controlling the fan speed too, interesting enough. And by the way, this is a MSI Supreme Liquid Cool. I have not, you can see I don't have any extra tuning on it, but look at this. 49% utilization on the GPU and 43. So I mean, this thing's barely breathing hard. So I'll show you the graphic settings and all that. I don't think this is not. Well, I guess it will show you what I have. Let's see. That's. I don't want to optimize it for anything. Okay, so that's saying OBS because I am running. All right, so there you go. You want to see what I have? I'll leave it up here for a while. You can take some notes or whatever. Copy the screen. What was that? Oh, all right, don't do that. Get back up here. Okay. Does that help? Yes, I'm on. Well, these are 4K screens, but I've got the settings inside of Microsoft at 2K. Was it 2560 by 1440, something like that? All right, so we're getting close to top of drop here. Let me do one thing. 101, 110.1 is my ILS. 110.1, that's correct. Alright, ILS frequency is tuned in on VOR1 as confirmed by the PFD, and the inbound course is 101. Did you see me set up for the DME arc? can't read. We can do that after flight. Okay, so yeah, sorry, it's probably because of the resolution, but that's all the settings inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I'm just going to leave it up here for a little bit longer in case somebody wanted to pause the screen, and I think Light Shafts was the other. Pause the screen and look at it. That's interesting. I don't know what that resolution is, because it's certainly not 1920 by 20. I don't know. I think this is probably the screen that I have this running on, so that's not going to be much help. I have a little 24-inch screen down here that's set at 1080p, and that's what it's on, and that's what I have as my main monitor, so that I can control all my other side apps and stuff off to the side and not interfere with these three visual screens. All right, so we are 2 miles from top of drop. Here we go. I'm going to turn this weather radar off because we don't have any weather to speak of. You can see the mainland from here. I will put terrain on. That might be interesting. Okay, here we go. Throttle coming back automatically. We should be slowing down. We should stay at Mach 0.8. Throttle's doing a great job of keeping within the speed parameters. Okay, so let's zoom out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was trying FSATC chatter, but it's not getting anything down here. Another question, do you feel the flap 1 and 15 gates on your TQ have the same TQ and barely feel them? Well, there's no real gate. I mean, you've got this tab, and no, you can't really feel it. It probably should be more pronounced. I get the impression that these two gates at 1 and 15 are just that. They're just for effect. They don't really have any, I mean, affect, not effect. They look like they're supposed to look, but they don't perform like they should perform. But that's not FSC's issue. This is a, they've modified the throttle, as you know, from the Paul Druggernet manufacturer. All right, so it's trying to keep up Mach 0.8, which I don't know why it would. It should be backing off of that pretty soon, because that's going to be too fast. It's probably doing that because it's only getting us down to, well, 12,000, and it seems like a huge descent down to DARPA's 54 miles out, but okay. Let's see, DARPA should be at 5,000, so, well, let's see, at the very least Mars we should be at 5,000, so let's try something here. Let's go /5,000, force it to be there. Okay, yeah, so now it's slowing down. Pull this down. Alright, it's idling back. We'll let it go. I'm not too worried. Unless it threatens to overspeed, I'm not going to give it any. Yeah, and it's coming back into profile. You can see on the ND where it's at 32.56. Is it coming down? Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Okay. Another question. Oh, you got that one. Okay. Same for me then. Yeah. I know about the Paul Druggernaut, but so does CP Flight, and you feel the gates with. Oh, you can feel the gates with the CP Flight one. Is that what you're saying? I guess we can add some rib around the nut to make it more pronounced. Yeah, no, I need to ask Pat if he, what he thinks about it. Yeah, there's not much you can do on the gate because the gate itself, or the little, whatever that dimple is that fits into each of the notches, you can't really do anything about that, but I don't know how the real one works. Intervene here. See if I can't get this down a little bit better. Alright, so now it's coming back. I was looking at the R&P and A&P gradients and seeing that they were not coming down, and I want to get back on profile because I modified the approach from what it was originally planned. Be interesting to see what in fact I can ask So where are you located, Xavier? Oh yeah, it's amazing. In fact, I just asked Carlo and the guys at FSC, what is it that they're doing? They being CP Flight, that you can feel the detent. Just, I'm sure they are aware of it. All right, so I'm doing manual descent VS at 2,500 feet per minute with the speed brakes on because I'm trying to keep my speed under control, and I'm trying to get to DARPA or Mars at 5,000. DARPA's going to be at 10 according to this. Because now one thing I could do if I wanted to just add something to it is I could put a hold in. If we went back to VNav and then I set up a hold. What if we do next we'll hold at DARPA. Yep, next hold DARPA. We'll enter that into the, there we go. There we go. Now we got a hold. Doesn't really matter. Let's see. Well, what is the hold at DARPA? 207 is the inbound course. Inbound 207, right turns. 207, right turns. There we go. Inbound is 207. 1 minute legs. Doesn't really say. ATC would more than likely give me that data. Transition altitude is 12,000. Erase that. Let's go 205 slash. Will that work? Yes. There we go. All right, doing all kind of stuff here. So DARPA, we should be at 5. So what I'm going to do is we'll go slash 5,000. And we'll just stay in the hole until we get down to 5,000. That way we don't do anything crazy. You can see on the RMP, yeah, profile is coming down. It's coming into profile, I should say, and it will we'll run the racetrack until we get things situated. And there is the Venezuelan coastline. All right, so, and we're going to go ahead and put our lights on since we're going to be in a holding pattern. Engine 2 continuous, auto brakes at 2. Yeah, well, these are really nice, and I like the fact that depending on your, what kind of setup do you have? What is your? Do you have an FSC setup, or what manufacturer do you have? All right, so outbound course is 27. We are in the hold. And I will exit. I'm not going to do a time. I'm going to exit once we get out of the hold, or once we get down to 5,000. Speed's bleeding off. Let's get rid of data. It's getting a little crowded in there. It's doing a good job of staying on profile, even at 300 knots. This mailed them yesterday about as well. I'm considering purchasing their force feedback yokes and rudder. They look nice, yeah. What you did know that's what I have here, right? And they are nice, yes. I don't have the ones that bolt underneath the That was Giovanni just messaging me back. Yeah, so I've got the same floor on this sim that the mechanically linked units would come with, but these are bolted onto the top in individual units, but they're still the control force loading. Yeah, and my captain's tiller is their control loading tiller. That one is not. That one's the regular tiller. This one you can definitely feel it's heavy. It's got that hydraulic cylinder in it. You can really feel the difference. Argon dual yokes for now, but considering it, yeah. Well, what's nice about this one is there's no mechanical shaker like bolted onto the back of it, because the motor that drives the control loading can do all of that with programming, so they don't have to have that extra shaker on the normal mechanical linked ones. That's assuming that you didn't get the floor that has the control loading links, because essentially the drive system for these two independent yokes is the same. What's different is these are connected electronically, so that's pretty cool. All right, we're doing okay. We're at 200 knots. We're slowly descending out of 8,400 for 5,000 so that we can be there at DARPA. So at this juncture, I think we'll be just fine. In fact, I may pick our speed up just a little bit. Let's go 220 knots. Clear to Sim, never heard of them. Shell is Fly-by Cockpits. Is that this the one that the same Shell that what is it? What's the guy's name? It's Sismo sells it. Motion for simulation platforms. Say what? You have 6 degrees of freedom? You have a 6 degree of freedom platform? Or that's the people that make that Clear to Sim make the 6 DOF. All right, overspeed disconnect. It's coming down. Should be able to. Yeah, you can see the yoke's moving with the as it's tracking the autopilot. Tell me more about this 6 degrees of freedom platform. Very interested in that. All right, so we're coming up on 5,000, so I'm gonna go back to my fix. No, not my fix, my hold, and I'm gonna exit the hold. So it should be ready right at DARPA to exit, and then we'll proceed on to the DME arc. All right, so which is 17 miles away, and you can see we're 26.7 DME on the MIQ VOR on 2, and I've got the radial on, let's see, where's this radial? So at DARPA, we should intercept at the 206 degree radial, 207, pretty close. And that's, you can see that on the chart here, so that agrees. I hope we pop in on here, because that would be cool if my little aircraft follows in. Okay, so descent. Bleeds, we haven't touched that, so engine bleeds are on. Packs are an auto, isolation's auto, recirc stayed on auto. Probe heats are still on, auto. Instruments are set. It's don't really need any QNH or baro minimums. We're at VFR. Altimeter is set for 1016, QNH 1016. Recall checked. Landing data set. We have a VREF of 138, and we are right at 206. We're ready for gear and flaps as we need them. Engine start switches are on continuous, and the EFIS panels are set for terrain. I'll put it on this one too for a while, but it gets too cluttered. Mail me. Yeah, I'll have to see when we get on the ground. Do I have an email contact on? I think I do have an email contact on my Discord. I mean, on this YouTube channel. I don't want to get off of this right now while I'm in the middle of the stream and look at it and mess something else up. All right, so we're looking good. All right, so we're going to hold the DME arc all the way from DARPA to Recon to Mares, and then when we get to Mares, I'll bring it down to 4. There we are. We're showing up, as you can see us on the map, about to hit DARPA, and we're turning. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so we're going to make our way around the arc, and then when we get to CF10, CF10 is down there where you see DME 14.7, and then we'll be there. I'll dial it down to 4,000 once we get past Mares. In fact, yeah, so we'll intercept the glide slope at 4,000, so I won't descend any lower than that, but we're in VNAV, so she'll start descending as required. And there we go. And we'll stay at 200. We're still a pretty good ways out, so no reason to slow down any more than we have to. Yeah, see if he has sent me an email, because he sent me, Carlos sent me an email from the cpflight.com/en/TQ737NG-prod, like product -141. And it's showing, I don't know, I can't tell if that's the same thing as this. I can't zoom in on it, so I'll have to wait till after I land. All right, so Rincon, and we're on profile. We're moving around the arc beautifully. Man, I can remember doing these in a GA aircraft at doing 80 knots. Okay, so we should get tomorrow as we'll start our descent. Love the reflections of the clouds in the water, pretty neat. So Xavier, what do you think about the lighting? Do you think it's too dark in here for you? I mean, I have, this would be all the lights on the, turned off. Now that's too dark for me, but I just put enough on to where I can, you know, basically see everything like it's daytime in here, and then a little bit on the MIP, on the MCP, but I don't want to put it too light. I know it's too far away, you can't see any detail anyway, but all right. 3 miles from Aries. Flight attendants, please prepare for landing. I can probably push this back a little bit. Still kind of blocks the, I don't know if you can see the, yeah, you can see the yoke on the FO side. Yeah, you can see it moving. All right, so now we're coming down to 4,000, and that will be to intercept the localizer. Enable approach. And we're gonna go ahead and put few degrees of flaps in there, and I'm going to intervene on the speed. Flaps 2. And we'll hold about 170 until we get on final. Yeah, so Xavier, you said you have 385s? Yeah, because this one over here is probably about, I mean, I can, if looking straight ahead, my peripheral, I can't see the edges of it. And I'm about, I don't know, I'm about 50, between 58 and 60 where my head is to touching the screen. Somewhere like around there. All right, so we're coming up on 170. All right. We're gonna go gear down. And flaps 15, and we'll reduce speed to, well, we'll leave the speed at 170 for now. That's okay. Flaps indicating 10, 15, Yeah, I like what one instructor told me. He says when you're looking at your PFD, what you do up here is like pushing the button in an elevator. It's where you're going, but it's not actually where you are right now. So in the PFD, you've got, we're on LNAV, VNAV, and it looks like we have final approach course and the glide slope and glide path set up, but we're not there yet. That's what we're planning to do. So we're holding here at 43, coming down to 4,000 slowly at CF10, which is right on profile with the map. Here we go, we're turning now. And I'm gonna dial this on back to 160. And we're gonna go flaps. We'll wait a little bit on the flaps, we're okay.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Normal.
Terrain ahead.
Pull up. It's okay, baby. We're not going to run into the mountains. I'm not going to fly you into the hillside. I can see the runway lights. Yeah, this is doing a really good job. I'm glad I chose this route. I like this. All right, so we're coming up on 14 miles DME, F10 at 4,000, should be 11 if that's, am I seeing that right? Throttle's coming back, that's good. Landing lights on, continuous engine starts, looking good. Okay, so now if you're looking at PFD, GP is green, so we've achieved that. We are on glide path. And final approach course. I assume that's what that is. That makes sense to me. Okay, so if we were to shoot a missed, climbing left turn, climb to 4,000, so we'll leave that set at 4. That's why the speed tape bug is squawking at us, flashing at us. Man, that's pretty terrain. All right, so let's dial in our speed. We're inside of 10 miles. Just try to keep the speed up a little bit. We don't want to crawl in at 10 miles out at 140 knots. That would be like, hey, take your time, but hurry up, will you? Okay, so let's go flaps 30, and we'll bring our speed down to about 145, 143, which is right on top of the hat. And then we'll bring our speed, our heading bug in. We're gonna rate this. Yeah, you can see how close we are to the terrain here, which is nice. And oh, that Puffin VFR smokestack thing is working, because that's pretty cool. You can see smoke coming out of the factory or whatever that is right on the coastline. Plus there's all kind of smoke kind of lingering along there. That's a neat effect. All right, so inside of 6 miles. All right, so final check. Final approach attendants have been notified. Speed brake is armed. Landing gear down, 3 greens confirmed. Flap set to 30. We're good to go. 1,200. 1,200 feet. We can lose this because we don't really need it, and I'll switch over to here. So when we touch down, we can figure out where we're going to park. Hopefully we can get probably Echo or Delta and then shoot across to the terminal. 1,000. All right, 1,000 feet. My airplane. White over red or red over white. Welcome to Caracas, Venezuela. Laps up. Clear to the left, clear to the right. APU on. Engine start switch is off. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I like that DME arc. Just requires a little planning and thinking about what you're going to do ahead of time. It's not just shooting a basic approach. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. Oh, I know what else I was going to tell you, Xavier, assuming you're still there. Thank you. Are you running an auto FPS tool? Because I am, and I think it does make a pretty big difference. The latest one seems to be really effective. Let me see, I was going to pull that up earlier and I forgot to do that. Alright, so you asked something about frame rates earlier. So here's the auto FPS. Got a little bit of activity going on here, but not too bad. I may fly back to Princess Juliana after I take a break. Do another stream going back. You want to fly with me? Come on down, man. Got a seat right here for you. Oh, you do use it? Yeah, it's pretty good. Yesterday I didn't use it on my stream. I forgot to start it. I don't know if it's still as sensitive as it used to be, where it says you should start it before you start Flight Simulator. I have started it afterwards, and it didn't seem to do anything crazy, but I know it does recommend that you start it ahead of time. So I don't know where my flight guys are. Since I don't have a designated gate, sometimes I look for the little Microsoft dude with his sticks, but I don't see him. Maybe I passed him up. So where are we going to go? Budget or thrifty? Maybe he's up here. Yeah, I tell you, it does make a difference. I mean, considering what I used to fly on the, if you've seen any of the, I've got some shots of some of my G8 cockpit, and it's good. It's just not the same. All right, let's go here. Even though this truck's in the way, there's always a truck in the way. You're standing in the wrong place, Mr. Flagman. All right, parking brake on. Airplane on the APU bus. Engines to idle, cut off. All right. And let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get it over here, get the ground power here. All right, we're on ground power. Kill the bus. Kill the APU. APU off. That's all off. Get that cleared. Interesting. All right. Well, welcome to Caracas, Venezuela, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the flight. Xavier, it looks like it's just been you and me, pal, the whole time. I did try ProSim 737 for 20. Wait, what? You did try ProSim 737 with 24 since it now works since a few days. Ah. It was really smooth, although I hate 24 for the many reasons at present time. Okay, so we talked about you wanted to see some settings, so let's go up here and see if I can get this. When did they release 24 or ProSim for Microsoft 24? Oh, I know what we can do. Are you on my Discord? Because I can go on the Discord voice and we can talk if you're interested in doing that. We could do that after the stream too. You're not on Discord. You're not on Discord, period, or you're just not, you don't have my Discord. Let's see, where are you, mouse? Alright, so where is my mouse? Hello. Where's my mouse? There it is. Wow. Okay, general options. All right, hopefully you can see this. So yeah, 25 performance. No VSync. DirectX beta, and the train, I don't mess with the train level and all that stuff here because Auto FPS takes care of that. So are you able to see this? You're driving. Send me invite. Okay, it should be in my in here. Let's see, let me do that now so it'll be on the stream, because if I don't know if do I have contact? Have we been in contact with each other? I'm sorry. Let me go to my Discord, because what I did yesterday with a couple buddies was they went on my Discord in the voice channel. So I didn't stream on Discord. I just got on the voice channel, and then they could talk to me while I'm in here. So let's see. Let's just copy this link. I think that'll work. Yeah, okay, there you go. And if it needs to, I'm assuming that that's the direct link to the voice channel, so if, I'll have to check. I don't know if you want to post your Discord username here or not, so we can just jump in there and remind me when you get there on the Discord. Alright, so those are the settings that I have. Let me go to the bottom of the list in case somebody's wants to check all these. Okay, there's the rest of them. The other thing I was playing around with, and I'm not 100% sure, I mean, it seems okay, but the zoom function, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, the height 50, I'm assuming that's the height of the position, eye level height of the center of the screen. So the zoom I set at 59, and I'm equating that to the distance that I have to be from the screen, and it does have an effect. See how you zoom in and out, and it affects the bezel effect, I guess is the only way to describe it. Because my screens, basically these two screens from this flat one, the side ones kick out at about, put a protractor on it, they're about 59 to 60 degrees, plus or minus a degree. I mean, it's not super accurate. So that's why I set it 59-60. The vertical position, or the horizontal position, that's going to reset. That's kind of the center of the screen, not my eye level, my eye view, because we're offset here. And as you can see, when I mess with the height, it doesn't change, so I'm just leaving it at 50. If anybody knows better how that is supposed to be, please let me know, because I'm not 100% sure how that should all be configured for, you know, this type of view, because most people sit in front, dead center in front of their screen, so they're looking, their eyes are right in the center of the screen. Well, I'm not. This is the center of the screen physically, so that's where it's a little tricky. It takes a while getting used to, I can assure you, on the approaches, because your view is a little skewed. Anything else you want to see? Give me 2 minutes, almost there. Yeah, that's fine. Take your time. I'll wait for you. At least that way I know we can get connected, and I can kill the stream and show you whatever it is you want to look at. So let's see. Regarding the sound, so I've got all the sound going through here, but this system set up with a Bose sound system, and this DVS is the Dante virtual sound card. Dante has this little card that plugs in the back of, it's a little circuit board card with 2 Ethernet ports that plugs in the back of the PM8500 Bose amp. Now, what's all that do? So all of the sound that comes out of ProSim for the simulation of the cockpit goes from the PC to that amp, does its magic, and then Dante creates all these different channels or handles all these channels, and the guys at FSC programmed all these different channels for various things. Like I've got 2 speakers in the MIP here. There are 2 speakers overhead. There are 2 speakers on the side panels on the side of my seat and the side of the FO seat. There's a 8-inch subwoofer right in the middle of the floor down here, and there are 2 what they call like butt kicker type vibrators underneath the yokes and the pedals right here. All of that goes through Dante and controls all of that, and there's a whole sophisticated level of stuff that's set up in this. So these are all program channels that I can use that sound comes from different aspects of the program. But as far as the simulation sounds, like the engine sounds, that all goes through channels 3 and 4, and in communications through 5 and 6, what I'm talking on now. So that's how that works. All right, so let's go back. I haven't looked at this, not that it really matters, but not experimental. That's what I was looking for. Sorry. So, with the developers mode on, oh, I can't click on any. Oh, here we can. So, what is this showing for? Whoops. All right, so that's what it's showing with these 3 screens, 62, runtime 4 hours. I have no clue what all of that stuff means. So it's used, the CPU is using 14 gigabytes of the 64, so there's 61 gigabytes available. Peak CPU memory usage was 15 gigabytes. GPU memory, it's only using 6.8 of the 32 or 24 that it has on, excuse me. But I don't really know what all that stuff means. But not bad for 3 screens. Then so the graphics, I've got them here. I don't know what would happen. I haven't tried it on, not ultra performance. What about quality? I have done it on DLAA before as well, but I'm kind of curious about quality. Dropped a little bit. We'll try that. Can't hurt. That's just my takeoff config. Does that whenever we get out of the menu for some reason. Okay, Xavier, what are you? Oh, Xavier dot Pullmans at hotmail.com. Oh, okay, I see how you're doing that. Did the Discord work? Trying to add you on Discord. Let me see. If you look up, yeah, hang on. Let's see. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. The screen's a little busy. All right, so I don't know if you look me up as Captain Scott in Discord and find me, but let me go on to. No. All right, so I'm in the Discord now. I'm live on that. So here we are. That's Discord. It's wheels up. I can't do that. I mean, I don't think I can delete the comments and such. Let me write it down real quick though. POEL. I'm trying to do an email right now just so I get it before. Oh man, I got all kinds of things open. Jeez. All right, I just sent a test mail. Hi. That's all I did just to get it in there. All right, so that's cool. Retract all that stuff. That's fine. Perfect. Okay, so that's, anyway, it's wheels up, and it's Captain Scott, so hopefully that'll help you get over there, but just sent you an email. How did we communicate before? I can't recall. It's just saying it's a shame that we live in such a messed up world that you can't trust anybody anymore. Okay, so we have, let me get rid of this developer mode, don't need that. Exit dev mode, try to. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to terminate the stream, guys. I appreciate you watching. Xavier, it was good having you with us. Hopefully we can connect here and discuss some more about this, these cockpits.
Let's see, that's off, flexi lights off. Those are all off. And we are going to take the hydraulics off, window heats off, probes to auto, yaw damper off, packs are off, fuel pumps are all off, and we're good. So we thank you guys for flying with us. We may be doing another flight on the way back, maybe another one a bit later, heading back to Princess Juliana. We'll see, or maybe go to San Juan. That's an outfit as well.